Alright guys, so welcome back to another video, and I'm back with Harrison, Nick, and I'm Thomas. So we're here to talk about a game that really goes back for me, and I know Nick.
20 whole years.
So yeah, 20 years. So we're talking like January 98. So
I remember it.
Yeah, you were there.
It was in Babbage's and I could play it.
Oh, Babbage's.
do you remember that?
I could play the little,
Electronics Boutique.
at the TV.
I remember playing Resident Evil at a boutique, but actually it was when my friend brought over his PlayStation and Resident Evil to my house, and I had a bunch of friends over to spend the night, and I remember like falling in love with the first Resident Evil. So anyway, fast forward to 98, my friend Tyler, who we hope to get on as a guest one day.
We're still in negotiations.
Yeah, they might take another few years.
Talks are moving forward,
But anyway, so I remember it was January 98, and Resident Evil 2 was about to come out. I remember playing the demo disc. I remember like eating a lot of Pizza Hut back then.
And going into the Pizza Huts.
Yeah, going into the Pizza Hut.
You go, it was like a restaurant.
Yeah,
go in there.
Now I just Postmates carry out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Taco Bell,
Hashtag 2018.
Anyway, so Tyler got the game before me, and I remember my mom would take me to the game store, and that night I remember I was like, Tyler, you got to put the phone up to the speaker so I can hear
Give me
it.
a taste.
And I was like, who are you going to pick? Who are you going to pick? Are you going to be Claire or are you going to be Leon? And he was like, I'm Claire. And then I heard the whole intro, and I was like, I can't wait to play it. And then I remember being obsessed with Resident Evil 2, one of my favorite PlayStation games. I mean, I'd called it my favorite Resident Evil game, but frankly, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and one of the best PlayStation games. So, and I knew
it was eagerly,
it
was eagerly anticipated. I remember I have my own little Resident Evil 2 story. I remember it was like summer camp 1997, and there were like stories coming out in GamePro and EGM and all like you remember gaming magazines when they had gaming magazines?
And Resident Evil 1.5.
Right, and I just remember like a friend of mine at camp, we would like trade the magazines back and forth and just read about this game, and we got so hyped about it. And I remember going over to his house like in January, the day it released, and just like playing that game for hours and hours. Like I was addicted. Like, you know, there are a lot of games that I definitely spent a lot of time with in those days, but that game was just so much fun. It was like so different than anything I'd really played at that point.
Mm-hmm. And it was like a big frontier for PlayStation. But anyway, let's fast forward to Resident Evil today, so Harrison can identify with the topic. He's a big fan of the movies.
Oh, I have all of them signed by.
You played some though.
Mila Kunis.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, W.S. Anderson.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's married to Mila Jovovich.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you got me Resident Evil 4 for the Wii, and then I think my mom threw it away.
Your mom was like, you can't be playing this.
And it was just
and
funny.
He was like an adult.
I was like in college or something.
And your mom was censoring.
I think I happened to leave it at home, and she saw it, and she's like, no.
And then you all probably watched 7 as a family that night. Yeah.
She was like, you played on the GameCube, or you don't play it at all. That's the authentic experience.
Right.
Not with motion controls. That's what she was looking out for.
But then, I played. We co-op 5 and 6, and that was a lot of fun. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because I definitely enjoyed that. I know. Didn't you try to play 5 or 6 recently? And you're like, eh.
I played 5.
To its completion. You beat 5.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But it was just like playing it with someone was, and especially online and everything. That was a whole lot of fun. Like,
I did do a little local co-op with 5. It was okay.
I gotta say, I got a soft spot for 6. I feel like it's so ridiculous. It's so just Resident Evil on crack. Just in the wrong direction from what the original is.
Yeah.
But in co-op mode, it was hilarious. You have to tap the button and you're about to fall off.
Because we would text one another,
just laughing. Yes, I fell off. And it's just so ridiculous.
Is it fair to say
the chase scenes and hitting all the buttons?
Is it fair to say that Resident Evil 6 is almost like it almost exists in the Resident Evil film universe compared to the Resident Evil game universe? Like that's
I don't know. But Resident Evil 6, I think, is the best-selling Resident Evil game, which is just wrap your head around that. So in a way, you got to respect Capcom for going back to its roots, because they are like which is rare, doing the opposite direction of what the money would be saying.
With 7, you mean?
It was 7 and 2 and the 2 remake.
Right.
Much more back in the.
I think part of what played into that though is they
maybe
recently re-released the remake of Resident Evil 1, which originally came out for the GameCube. They recently released that on Steam, and recently being like a couple of years ago. They released it on Steam. They released it on PlayStation Network, and I think on Xbox's Marketplace as well. And it sold like a shit ton. Like it did very, very well. I think that kind of partially.
We got some rats on the loose. Sorry.
I think that partially motivated why they greenlit or at least decided to move forward with the Resident Evil 2 remake. Is that there was such a great response to the remake coming out on those channels.
Yeah, and like we were saying, like Resident Evil 2 when it came out was an event. I feel like I know.
To be fair, we were also 12.
Yeah, 12 years old. But for me personally, I remember being
even for someone
its hype level was very high for that Resident Evil 2 release. Yeah.
Even for someone who didn't have a PlayStation, I remember that game coming out. I didn't I was just like, oh well, someone's gonna play it and they're gonna enjoy it, but not me. So it's just I mean, and like I said, I played like bits and pieces of like local game stores in the mall, but that's like not playing the game at all. So yeah,
you gotta play that. You gotta play that game like in a dark basement to get the full effect.
Oh
like, late at night, preferably in a rainstorm. Not like a well-lit mall with like.
Yeah. All right. Let's touch real quick on.
So why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about Resident Evil 2?
Well, I feel like we're kind of like doing like a retrospective. Let's figure out what we like. Dogs, quit that. Hey, Eli, Maddie.
So obviously,
don't
this is all
make me edit more video. Okay. Anyway,
so obviously,
one
this
shot.
is all top. Obviously,
but Resident Evil 4. You like Resident Evil 4? Yeah.
So obviously, this is not a Resident Evil retrospective. This is we're talking about this because Resident Evil 2 is coming out in like a couple of weeks, and being Resident Evil fans going back to the mid or late '90s, like we're super excited about Resident Evil 2 coming out. I mean, you're kind of you've played some of the later entries in the series.
I'm excited for this, but I mean, the one thing that kind of gets me more excited is that, like, you all had kind of casually talked about it, like, prior to the announcement. But the announcement, you both were, like, so freaked, like...
That was the most excited we were, I think, at E3.
Yeah, I remember sitting there being like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a game, and like so. But it's like you all have like hyped it up, and I've seen more videos of it, and it gets me excited for it. I'm excited to play it. Like not as someone who's like like I haven't played that much of the series, and especially the first 2 games, which I'm sure what make you really like it, and like a nostalgia factor for you all.
Oh, that's a big influence.
Does it feel like a modern 2019 game to you, or does it feel like sort of a
2006,
like a repackaging
2005,
or even like a slightly older style game, or does it feel like it can really compete with like games coming out in 2019?
Looks like Resident Evil 4 with modern graphics.
That's a hard okay, like competing with other games, I don't know, but I think like the look of it and the feel of it, yes.
Nostalgia's playing a big role in why it's obviously
and it can I think it's gonna do well for sure.
I think well,
but I just if you're talking about to me, it feels like a brand new game, but for you all, I don't know exactly how you all feel about it.
Kind of the same way I felt about Remake in 2002, like the original remake of Resident Evil.
I remember getting really excited about that.
I was super excited about it. Like I knew it was going to be kind of a retread, but it was also going to
And it was a surprise too, because it was a remake on a game that only came out 6 or 7 years before it released.
Yeah.
So, but like rewinding to back then. And coming to like now, it just feels like almost this full circle kind of thing with my relationship with video games, and especially Resident Evil being one of the early Dementors from Harry Potter.
They know, Tom.
In my video game zeitgeist. So. That was a print it, seal it.
Well, I just thought it was also like you doing
your
Thomas's top 10 and like realizing that survival horror is like one of your favorite genres, and I guess I knew that, but I didn't realize how high up it was for you, because like when you kept saying all the different like Silent Hill and Resident Evil, I was like, wow. I was like, I'm surprised that these are top 10, but it actually makes a lot of sense because you've talked about them for forever. So, I don't know. It was shocking to hear it initially, but it was like it made sense. So I'm like, now I know that
I feel like Harrison has not played some genuine survival horror games. Here's a chance. It's a thrill. Those games really get under your skin. Yeah. And I know you don't really like that much, but I feel like if there's like immersion to that degree where I'm genuinely terrified, like when I played PT. Like that was this connection that I rarely feel, and I feel like that it's just like it just transforms you. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think that I mean, there's you're definitely saying something when you can get that immersed that you are terrified. I just don't like being terrified in general, but I also
I'm terrified. It's terrifying, but I know I'm in my
exactly. And there's a difference between me now as a 33-year-old man and as like a kid, because the things that I've played even recently, to some kids they'd be terrifying, but to me I'm just like eh. Yeah. So I mean, I'm ready for it. I'm not gonna not play because it's scary. I have every intention of playing and beating the game, and I'm excited for it. It's just typically the games that I like are a little bit more lighthearted, I guess. Kingdom Hearts is great. Zelda's great. I'll tell you, it was also when I was a kid, Ocarina of Time, the Re-Dead, zombie guys, when they would grab you and scream. I was like, that's fucking terrifying. But it never made me, stop playing the game because it wasn't that scary. It just was it's just certain things like that, when it gets you and it kind of chills you because I don't know.
I'm starting to understand why your mom hid Resident Evil 4 from you when you were in your 20s.
Yeah. But
I was just thinking you obviously haven't played a lot of the games that Thomas and I kind of hold up as the survival horror Hall of Fame. But I think it's actually kind of a less traversed genre in my experience. Not a lot of people really get into survival horror games. I'm just sitting here thinking, man, I'd love to do a whole episode about Clock Tower, but I don't even think you.
I barely dabbled in Clock Tower.
Yeah, it's just one of those lesser, they don't really get a huge release.
They don't, and that's why
a lot of fanfare.
And this is why, trajectory speaking, I think Resident Evil 2 is a huge opportunity to bring back the survival horror genre. We were talking about how Square renewed the Parasite Eve trademark. And I would think that Square, if they're we're gonna give another shot in this survival horror genre, let's see how Resident Evil 2 does first. So I don't know. That's pure speculation, but
I would love to see a Parasite Eve reboot.
No, for sure.
That'd be great.
But anyway, so let's I feel like Resident Evil 2. All right, the biggest thing right off the bat change is from the lock camera angle to the over the shoulder gameplay.
The Resident Evil 4 post Resident Evil 4 style of Resident Evil.
And the developers argued, it's most conducive to presenting the game they want to present. But you wonder from the back of their minds, they're thinking, lock camera is a dead genre and it could cause an uproar. And actually the remake on GameCube did not sell that well. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, I'm talking more about return on investment.
That's true.
Which is sort of a different.
Resident Evil 2
it's a whole different argument.
They said that they're up to 800 developers on Resident Evil 2 at one point. So this is I feel like this is a big project for them. I think they announced this in 2015.
There were, I'm trying to remember when I first heard about it, because there were rumblings.
They had a YouTube video
back in 2016. I remember
from Capcom. Capcom released a video and they had the Resident Evil 2 icon and they said they're making a remake. There was a dude in Japan in the Capcom building.
No, I remember there was a Twitter account where there was some. I don't think this the one I'm thinking must.
Oh, it was when they had the
one you're talking about. They didn't have a trailer. It was literally a typewriter out of focus.
That's right.
In the picture.
That was before E3. That was right before E3.
Yeah.
That was the announcement because back then they just announced the game and we got to see it at E3 and they said it was coming out 6 months later. Good job, Capcom. I feel like you all.
Wait tease.
I feel like Capcom is becoming major. It's a competitor again. But we'll see. We got to play Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry first. But anyway. So moving on, another thing.
So the over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
Like I get why they did that. I mean, I think like what we're talking about, survival horror is kind of like, it's just not a widely appealing genre. So I think like anything you can do to kind of, and maybe this is sort of the Trojan horse of the survival horror renaissance that we're hoping it will be. And if that's the case, then if that's what it takes to make it happen, then make it an over the shoulder survival horror game rather than a fixed camera angle game. I mean, I love that. Resident Evil Remake is one of my favorite Resident Evil games, largely because they do hew so closely to that old school style. But
I can see why they want to control the camera too, versus it being stuck up here. They wanted to like swoop up and get the angle over here when you're getting bitten.
Let's be honest, it makes for better gameplay.
It does. It's more. It is more
better gameplay.
And I know it's a sign, but there's like a certain degree of fear that comes with not knowing what's in front of you or what's right around the corner with the locked camera angle. And also when somebody's chasing you, you're like, hopefully it's not right behind me.
Yeah,
I nemesis would get you.
I definitely agree that there are unique opportunities to make that situation terrifying, but I think there are also ways to make the over-the-shoulder, dynamic terrifying as well. They're just different methods, right? Yeah. And I think, like, for everything I've seen of Resident Evil 2, it looks like a straight-up survival horror game. For sure. It doesn't look like the latter-day Resident Evil, Paul W.S. Anderson, run-and-gun, Gears of War clone, over the top sci-fi shit show kind of vibe. It looks like it's really going back to its roots, at least in thematic elements, if nothing else.
And I feel like that we've barely seen anything. All the footage has been from like the police station, which is like right at the beginning of the game. Spoilers. Yeah.
It's the majority of the game.
I don't know about that.
It's at least like 2/3 of it.
I know. I don't want to spoil it. There's like 4 other locations, mind you. Anyway, so another part of Resident Evil 2 that I'm kind of wondering about is like the sound design. The music in the original was very good, very important to me. I hope that
very atmospheric.
They bring that back, and it kind of has that same tone. And I feel like we've just seen trailer footage, and like it's going to be different when we play it. When you're like actually in to what they want us to experience versus just watching trailers. Mm-hmm. It's going to be its own dynamic.
I did read an article or like a tweet or something where they were like the sound that used to play in the original game when you pick up an item that like or whatever.
Yeah, is in it. And it's
yeah,
just
like
so
they made a point. Yeah, the menu
sounds.
sounds, especially, and that sound in particular, they made a point to bring back into the remake, which
that is like just
a really, really nice attention to detail.
Honestly, that should be in every remake. Those like original sounds. I bet you in FF7 they're gonna have those sounds back. Faux show. Sorry. Anyway, so Mr. X, Claire, like it just feels like it's weird that it's coming right around the corner, and I feel like that like I'm already kind of in the middle of January. Where did the beginning of January go? Like, and like I don't care about it being 2019 anymore. I'm just like, all right, it's 2019.
Give us the games.
Yeah. Give us the game.
They also kind of like when they really did their big media dump. Like it wasn't that long ago. Like
no,
they didn't like pull their they didn't show their hand too early. Like they really waited. I think it was like the fall or late summer.
That was like the really exciting thing that you both were like. It's like when you found it was coming out in February. February seems like
January.
January. You're just like, holy shit, it's here.
Right.
It's like that's not that long to wait for something, honestly. So that was like that was not only were you getting to see the thing
that
you
it
wanted,
even existed.
It existed, but it's also that you're getting it so soon.
Yeah.
That's when you bite until a Long John. You're like, it's got cream filling.
Yeah, it was
after that trailer. We all share that.
Take notes, Square. Take notes.
Anyway, so Resident Evil 2. It's just like I said, it's surreal. I can't believe it's almost here. I can't wait to see like what they've done with the latter, more epic parts of the storyline. How they bring in the G-Virus and Mr. X and the story expansions and Ada and all the shit that has to do with it. Like, it's just kind of unbelievable that it's coming, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it. So, any final thoughts?
Are you gonna play it before Kingdom Hearts 3?
Ha! Honestly, I probably will start it, and I'll try. I don't know, maybe not.
Because you got 4 days, right?
I'm probably not. Honestly, I don't know.
I
don't know.
I will probably.
I don't know.
But are you planning on playing Kingdom Hearts 3 when it comes out?
No, so technically it's not that impressive for me to say that. But
yeah. I don't know. Like, it's just like, I wish they came out a little far.
Because I am going to.
We were like, delay, and now we're like, they're coming out at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't get Resident Evil.
Can't please you, Thomas.
I know.
I don't know if I'm going to play it actually before. I think I'm going to wait and play Kingdom Hearts because I'm really excited for that. But at least I will have it. It'll be there. And I want to help support the game coming out on
that's
day
the thing.
one.
That's
it.
That's the attitude. Oh, please.
You.
And they're going to, Capcom is going to invite you and give you a ceremonial.
I was saying,
You can make a character!
if you get invited to participate in the survey, you better participate.
Yeah, you better participate. But anyway, guys, pick up Resident Evil.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
Ding the bell.
And it's crazy.
What are you excited for? Do you care? You probably care because you watched the video and you got this far.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. All right, peace.
Later.
Bye.